Hello, class. This is Dr. Young. I want to spend just a few minutes going over chapter 16 and 17. This week we'll be looking at the Enlightenment, basically how important this is. Chapter 16 is going to focus in on the scientific revolution, which ultimately is going to bring about the Enlightenment. So when we look at chapter 16 in terms of science, one of the things that is really important for us to understand is the place for science, the place of science. You learned when you were in high school, even really in junior high school, the scientific method, this idea of using our reason to try to figure out an answer to our question, using a hypothesis. This is going to have a tremendous impact in European thought. And so I want to just spend most of our time today talking about the Enlightenment itself. The Enlightenment is basically this idea of it's called rationalism. This notion of using reason as the final arbiter. Now, when these enlightened people who are enlightened are basically, as you're going to read, are going to be concerned about explaining phenomenon apart from the Bible, apart from God. They're going to want to try to explain what we see around us by the use of our reason, by noticing things in nature, noticing things in terms of what we can actually see and what we can test. And so this is going to have tremendous impact on really the intellectual community. It's certainly going to have a problem in the sense that it's going to be a challenge to authority. But it's also the important issue here is that people are going to be concerned. And so about certain issues, one of the things, of course, they're going to be very concerned about is this absolute form of government. We saw in last chapter where the English were moving in one direction and the French were moving in another. So people who are enlightened are going to be concerned about unchecked and arbitrary authority, where there is no limitation. The second point they'll be concerned about is the lack of religious toleration or intolerance. They're going to understand that when you begin to see things as an enlightened individual, it's not going to be so clear because there's not going to be a source of truth. For example, if we use the Bible as a source of truth, then it's very easy for people to say, well, the Bible says, and that's the end of the discussion. But if you don't use the Bible as that use of final arbitration, if you will, then that means other people are going to have different opinions. And so you have to respect other people's opinion. So this idea of toleration. And then lastly, the importance of law. The importance that there has to be a series of laws, a series of things that have to govern us. And this idea that we're going to use reason, we're going to use the natural abilities that we have to try to figure out the solutions to our problems. This is going to be an important 2 chapters as we begin our study, as we move throughout Western civilization too. This idea of the Enlightenment and the important role that it plays in the European, not just the European way of life, but also, of course, eventually the American way of life as well.